Roblox RPGs. What do you think when you hear of this? Vysteria? Pilgrim? Lumion Legacy? Oh, hold up, that's a Pokemon game. Okay. When I hear the word RPG, I'm thinking of Pilgrim. I mean, it's a pretty solid game and everything, but listen. Recently, I found out about a game that is RPG, and it's so good, and it came out just recently, a couple weeks ago. That is insane. Usually RPGs in Roblox are either cash grabs or good but with no updates. I'm looking at you, Pilgrim. When is our next update? But I found a game which is called Blox Tales. This game is so unique, so stylish, so good for a first demo. This game has just came out and it's already better than half the content on Roblox as a platform, which means that I just have to talk about it. I have to spread awareness of how good Blox Tales RPG on Roblox is. Yes! 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 Finally! A game where I don't go around and shank people with my fucking rusty sword or something. Oh, finally. This is a turn-based RPG game, kind of reminding me of Earthbound. You know, that old game. You start with 10 HP, 5 SP, and 3 BP. HP is self-explanatory, SP are special points. To use them, you need active cards that are only active in battle. So, once you have these cards, you can use your SP to do some special moves, or do more damage simply. But, you cannot just put how many cards you want. There's like, what, currently 18 or 19 cards that are in the game. A lot of them are still not added, and a lot of them are still unobtainable. I'm gonna go through that later, but right now all you need to know is that every card has its own BP stat. If it has more, then that means that it's gonna consume more BP. Which is kind of good, because that would completely break the meta. Like, everybody would just pick all their cards. There's 3 types of cards: passive, active, and cosmetic. Cosmetic and passive are self-explanatory, but active, just like I said, are in battle. Not only that, you have a ball and a sword that you get at the end of prologue. Oh yeah, also, massive spoilers if you want to play the game for yourself right now. So, how does everything work? Your sword can attack spiked enemies. For example, in this clip, I'm fighting porcupines, and the only way for me to damage them is to actually use my sword. Because the ball will just pop. Yeah. But don't think that the sword is just superior from the ball. That doesn't mean that you just straight up need to equip the knight thingy. No. The ball is also useful because there's gonna be flying enemies around the game. Every time you see a flying enemy, that means that your sword is completely fucking useless. Your ball is the only way to damage these enemies. So yeah, if you pick up knight or baller, I would recommend you to go and get your ticks back because they're not worth it. This card in this little trader thingy green, I guess it's just a unobtainable card. Most of them are unobtainable, but I mean, you know, you can obtain this card by using a glitch with like the tab and things, but that's not what matters. The outside world, when you walk around, you can see enemies, like for example these ants or porcupines outside of the world. If you hit them with your sword or a ball or I don't know, however you want, you actually gain a damage boost at the beginning of the battle, which means that you'll do more damage. The gameplay consists of you just running around, shifting everywhere, and sometimes you can actually interact with items with your swing or your toss ability. That are also like, you know, ball and sword. Yeah, that's basically it. The story for chapter 1 is very deep. Like, deeper than most philosophical questions of our life. Okay, in actuality, you wake up in a penguin's crib called Terry, and he tells you to fuck off. So, if you do that, well, yeah, you will. But there's a funny little Easter egg if you decide to just say, I'll kill you. This happens. The funniest part about this whole interaction is that this is an actual achievement. This is the first thing that I've ever did in the game after I booted it up, and it was so fucking hilarious when I did that. After that whole thing, I realized, yeah, the game is probably gonna be peak. There's a lot of funny NPCs everywhere, but since we're talking about story, let's talk about story. You wake up in a penguin's crib, and he just starts asking you questions. So you tell him that you and Builderman go back in time, and now you're in old Roblox. The penguin doesn't want to listen to that. His name is Terry, by the way, and he basically tells you to fuck off. While we do that, we learn that we can shift, and we have our trusty ball. But that's not it. We have to find Shedletsky. To do that, we have to go back to the old Roblox headquarters and find him there. Maybe Builderman is somewhere in the Roblox headquarters, we think. Which, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But then we notice that the whole Roblox HQ is kind of overrun by some fucking noobs. Flying noobs. Noobs with swords. Hey, wait a minute, something ain't right in here. Where the fuck is Shedletsky? We need to walk east to Roblox headquarters. But, yeah, let me just throw that out. This guy in the alleyway is gonna be very important later. Because this is the main reason why I collect bucks in this game, after all. Some of the bucks are also unobtainable for now, but, you know, we're probably gonna find a way to cheat in. Anyways, this guy has one special card that is very important, hardcore-based thingy, which just makes everything harder. Like, increasing enemy damage and decreasing your window time to parry. But another thing that is important to note is the shop. The noises, the items, everything in here is just reeks of old Roblox, which is just amazing. I mean, even the sounds in here are similar. Listen to this!
Can I have cheeseburger, please? Can I have cheeseburger, please?
Coffee, coffee! Coffee, coffee!
Every fucking single sound in this game is Roblox related. Old Roblox related. Walking, jumping, tossing, dashing, everything in here is a Roblox sound. An old one. And oh my god, does it just warm my heart. This game feels more classic than the fucking event that Roblox is doing right now. Do you see this shit? Why are you skipping into all the tower defense on this shit? What the fuck? Ugh, I hate this game. Anyway, if we keep going to the east, we will see Roblox HQ, which, you know, is currently the main objective. After you enter the Roblox HQ, you'll find out that there's a lot of these stupid little newbies everywhere. Wings, swords, they're everywhere. They're infested this place, which already makes it pretty sus. So what do? That's right, you go to the last floor and you try to find Shedletsky. But instead, you find something far more creepier and unexpected. This is something that will begin your whole adventure. And this is it. Yes, this is the first actual boss battle. Well, at least it's considered to be. I wouldn't say that there are bosses. There's a lot of enemies that are, I think, harder than this. But yeah, I guess that this is still a boss fight. From their dialogue, we can learn that they're hired by someone. Since they're like, we should tell that to boss. But the other thing is, why? From Shedletsky, we learned that they basically kidnapped Builderman, which, you know, is the main goal of our game to find. And then Shedletsky says something about the sword fight on the high swords. That's a sentence, am I right? Sword fight on the high was an old game in Roblox, which was basically just, imagine strongest battlegrounds, except there's no abilities and there's nothing like that, except you have like fucking swords and you go kill each other. And Shedletsky basically gives us a wooden sword, which we use to break planks. This is one of the things that the sword is able to do, break interactive planks, which are pretty much scattered everywhere, and hopefully you don't have the memory of a goldfish and you keep remembering that the sword can actually break these, because, I mean, if you're a 5-year-old, this is too tough for you for a Roblox game. This was the first boss, and do you know how much fan art there is of red and blue? And I'm not talking about that stuff, I'm talking about like actual good fan art. Go join their Discord. I mean, I kind of got in there to watch for the announcements and shit, but yeah, the most important thing that we learn is that there's a boss and that there's a sword fight on the Hyde sword, and they're kind of trying to find them. We don't know for what reason or purpose, but we'll learn later. Duh. No shit, am I right? After that whole thing, we decide to go for the caves. I kind of forgot why, but I guess we need to go for the caves? I don't know. I don't think it was specified in the dialogue, do we need to go or not. Basically, main objective, go to the caves. Just keep going to the east and you'll eventually find it. It's really hard to miss, by the way. After that, we kind of think that, hey, this was a boss, right? So there's no way that there's gonna be another one in like a couple of minutes of gameplay. Yeah, right, it's a demo. Oh my god! It's El Primo from the hit mobile game Brawl Stars. Nah, just joking. Actually, I'm not sure if this is their boss or not, but it doesn't seem like it. The last boss is probably, you know, in the last chapter. I know that there's already music out for like the future chapters, and specifically for 4th chapter, but music and game is kind of 2 different things. The main thing about Nubador is that he's a lot tougher than the first 2. And I would consider this to be the actual first boss fight of the game. But yeah, you beat him pretty easily, and then he just dies in a Peter Griffin death pose. Yeah, that's funny. Ugh. Hearing this again in game just sends me the heebie-jeebies, you know? Anyways, the caves. Now that we're in the caves, we have to get to the top. This is the part of the game where the game kind of ramps up a bit in the difficulty, and a lot of enemies are starting to be more gimmicky and more difficult, especially their parrying windows. If the noobs and flying noobs you already understand, the porcupines I still miss sometimes. Which, yeah, it is a bummer, but our main goal is to get to the top. And here is another thing. The ants are sentient. For the first chapter, there's actually quite a lot of bosses. Probably 4 or 5 to be specific. I mean, it's also important to consider who's boss, but yeah. Basically, this guy has 2 moves. He either spawns ants or he either just runs up at you and just hits you really quickly. That attack is kind of annoying, by the way. I hate it. But otherwise, it's a pretty forgettable boss, I'm not gonna lie. I killed it once, and then when I came back, I just remembered that it exists. So, yeah, that's basically the entire boss. It's not that hard. Road Town, the second village that we currently have in the game. Kevin comes in and tells us about Blackrock Castle and how there's snow clouds coming from it. Also, someone stole the Ice Dagger. Now, if it's your first time hearing about the Ice Dagger and you're questioning your life existence, it's because, yes, the Ice Dagger is a special thing. Every chapter will be tied to a single dagger, which is elemental. For example, if chapter 1 dagger is Ice Dagger, the second chapter is probably gonna be a fire or something like that, or shadow, I don't know. We don't actually know all the daggers, but we do have this little Discord art, which kind of is a little spoiler for how many chapters there's gonna be and how many daggers there are gonna be. So yeah. Basically, after you talk with Kevin, he explains that you need to go to Monty. Monty the mayor. He's old, like really old, and he will tell you something about acquaintance or something, or his son. I don't remember specifically. But Jim is a special character tied to 2 achievements. So if you want to beat this game 100%, you need to play the game twice. You either save him, or you just don't, and end the chapter like that. I didn't know that you can actually not save him, but now when I know, that's kind of funny. I mean, death is not funny, but fuck it, you get it. Anyways, we get the adventurer's ID card or something like that, and we just decide to go to the snow outskirts. In there, we see a big pile of red fucking stinky mush, which, yeah, we kind of need something for that. So that's why we need dynamite. Dynamite is one of the first items that you can actually use in the outside world and in combat also, which is not card related or anything like that. And just like my grandpa used to say, bomb them! Throw grenades at them! And yeah, you'll basically save Jim, or not, it's entirely up to you. After we get the dynamite, we might as well just explode this little pile, and yeah, we have a quick shortcut back to the Blackrock Castle. Speaking of, this will be the last area you'll be visiting, at least for Demo 1. Blackrock Castle is a place filled with these knights. They have defense, they have a lot more health, and they have more damage, which is kind of, that makes sense. This is the last area of the first demo. Anyways, we got the dynamite now, which we can actually use in battle. So yeah, ball is kind of useless because defense, and we find a door which is locked, so we need to find a passcode to open the key, which we do by talking to these little enemies. After we get the Blackrock key, we can actually explode this guard with our dynamite for some reason and actually get an achievement. Lamau. So yeah, this is basically how the first part of this castle goes. Now that we have the dynamite and the ball, we can use both of them. The ball to knock the pillar and the dynamite to explode piles. Isn't that just great? A life where we have 2 gimmicks at the same time. What about a third one? Which is exactly what we need after we are done with part 2. If you have ever played this game, you know that this enemy sucks absolute balls. This guy will fuck you up faster than anyone else in this game. And there's 4 of them on floor 19. Have you ever tried killing one of these? Try killing 4! Alright, let me explain. This is not a boss, it's a mini boss. But for a mini boss, he slaps ass, okay? Do not underestimate the guy. He will fuck you up. So for this one, I just used dynamite because it's like the fastest way to kill him. And also, his attacks are almost undodgeable. And they do so much damage for no reason. I'm playing without hard mode and it's already hard. Imagine playing with hard mode. God, I hate this boss. Good thing there's not done. After we illegally break into the property, oh, so holy shit, that block. There's these 4 guardians that finally use their brain for once and build a barricade. But, us being a genius next level player, we decide to do a circumcision moment and cut the chandelier. After trolling funny wizard guy, we get Piss. Now Piss is good because we can, oh shit, he blew up everything. Anyways, now I have to climb this big ass tower that is kind of remind me of Pizza Tower. Also, there's this weird text glitch. Anyways, we go up, and remember how I said that there were 3 cars that you can use outside in the world? Not only Dynamite, Toss, but there's also another one, Shrinking. Now, Shrinking is very important because there's like these small little rat holes everywhere where you can go. Which, yeah, more gimmicks equals better game, which means I like it more. So yeah, 10 out of 10, great game. Kill my... We go up the stairs, and it's time. It's time for the last boss of the game to appear. And we're gonna see him now. The last boss of the game, currently, for Chapter 1, how many times I said that? He's just there. And, since I know about this boss, I just decided to eat an apple pie, which gives me strength, so... Yeah, this boss is very easy if you know what you're doing. But some of his attacks are really hard to dodge because, I mean, you're gonna fight this guy only once in a game. If you lose, you probably have skill issues. But, anyways, he has a couple moves. He can either kill you with the dagger thingy, and if you do it great, then you can actually get less damage. But he does like 12, I believe. Then he has like this little mist thing that he spawns, which can attack all of your party members. So yeah, this is probably the only enemy that has AoE damage, except for enemies with bombs and stuff. Not only that, he can also spawn guards. And as you can see, the guy spawned a guard with a bomb. Speaking of which, some enemies can have items. And I'm gonna talk about it later. But all what you need to know is that this was easy as hell. For a first demo, this game has a lot of attention to detail. For example, did you know that if you go into settings and you put a flavor to your menu or change the color, it will change the fighting animation. So when you're idle in a fight, it will have a different animation. I didn't even notice that! Look at this! If I wouldn't have seen this video, I wouldn't have known! Like, come on, these details are so insane and crazy. They went through all of the colors that they added. I'm pretty sure they're gonna add more, but yeah, even that is just insane. You should probably consider the pit as a DLC thing that you come to when you're done with the game. Because there's 19 floors. Every floor has a unique set of enemies, and literally unique enemies. Some of them aren't even in the main game yet. So yeah, if you think that's it, no. After beating the first chapter, you get a dagger. Every dagger has its own specific ability that you have to charge with sword energy. To get sword energy, you either do damage or you either get damaged, which is a pretty cool mechanic. The more daggers that are going to be added, there's probably going to be more variety in builds. But if you still think that's it, nuh-uh. How about you go talk to some NPCs and get some NPC bitches, I guess. Some NPC dialogue is actually unique, and there's a lot more things that we probably have missed. Glitches, secrets, and all of that. Hopefully, there's going to be an update soon enough, because this game has a lot of potential. Also, please leave a like and subscribe. This was the first video like this that I've ever made. Thank you.